So at long last, I finally sat down and dedicated some time to read Chainsaw Man. At the current time of me recording this video, I have read 29 chapters. That means I am on chapter 30 of the manga, and I do plan to read more later today, probably after I finish uploading this video. And so I felt like around chapter 29, chapter 30 was a good enough time to really get a solid first impressions on the story to see if I would truly like it, dislike it, if I want to continue going forward, and give my thoughts on the said series. It is definitely everything I expected and more. I mean, as I've always said, I love psychological, dark and gritty stories, crazy characters, things that make you think, and that's exactly what Chainsaw Man has to offer. It definitely is a series that kind of makes you think, and it does question kind of what makes you human, what makes it to where you have emotions for something, what does it mean to actually dream or want something. There's so much to really gain from this story that honestly I truly appreciate, and I'm so glad I finally sat down and gave this series a chance to actually read it and all that, and I had a good time. So I briefly want to do a spoiler-free segment before I get into some spoiler stuff. If you have never heard about Chainsaw Man, or if you're interested in reading this but you don't know what it's about. To kind of clarify the first chapter of Chainsaw Man, it's basically about our main male character, Denji, is in poverty. He has no money, and he will do pretty much anything for money. And his only way to really make money is by being a devil hunter, which results in him being in some very dangerous situations. And as the story progresses, he is not able to make ends meet in the first chapter, which results the mafia that he's in debt with to pretty much get rid of him thanks to a devil taking control of them, and results in Denji losing his only best friend he's had in his entire life, which is Pochita. Now, Pochita is this dog-like creature which is apparently a devil, or is actually a devil, and apparently Denji's like, you know what, Pochita, if I was to die, I want you to live a normal life and die normal and all that. You could take my body. And so that is what he says, you can do this for me. And upon Denji dying and all that at the end of, towards the end of chapter 1, Pochita talks to him and is like, look, I will give you my heart, but you show me your dreams. So Pochita gave up his life for Denji could survive, and they kind of made a weird fusion to where Denji is now basically half man, half chainsaw, and he is now kind of like a devil/human, and he is in a very weird state. He's been able to live on thanks to Pochita's sacrifice, and which results in him becoming a devil hunter for the rest of the story, as we can see. So that's kind of the main gist of it, basically, and it's kind of like Denji trying to go through life, trying to discover what he wants, what does he want to accomplish, and what does it mean to be human, what does it mean to dream, etc. There's a lot to really gain from the story, but that's kind of the best summary I can give to Chainsaw Man with its first chapter, but there is a lot more going on than just that. Denji as a character, when I was first reading Chainsaw Man, when I was around like chapter 12, 13, I wasn't the biggest fan of Denji, and the reason for it is because he felt very empty as a person. He felt very lacking as a person, which makes sense when you think about the theme and vibe of what the story was presenting in the first 10 to 12 chapters. Denji as a character was very empty. He was someone that didn't really have much in his life. He had no way to really communicate with people. He never had a friend. He never had any ability to really make any personal and intimate connections with anyone. He never really got to experience what it meant to have a lot of good food on the table or family love. He never got anything that a normal person would normally have. And obviously this type of vibe and theme is something you would see in countless other stories, shonen, etc. But I think Chainsaw Man handles it in a way that actually feels very realistic, and I think the writer of this series captures Denji's character in such a realistic way that honestly I didn't realize it at first. When I was reading Chainsaw Man for the first 10 to 12 chapters, I didn't realize just how realistic the writer captured Denji, and I was just like, holy crap, I almost judged this series and thought it was really bad because of Denji. I didn't really like Denji as a character until I realized what the writer was trying to do, what the writer was trying to develop with Denji as a character, and show us that not everybody is going to be happy-go-lucky as soon as they encounter their first friend, as soon as they encounter something good in their life. They're not going to instantly be perfect and, perfectly sane in their mind. And that's not what Denji is. He is obviously very unstable, and he is crazy. That is definitely the best way to summarize his character, and I don't think at any point throughout his journey within his story is he probably going to be mentally fit, because, I mean, that was like the whole point of what we saw even in the latest chapters around chapter 27 and 28 of the manga, where he's like, if I got emotional for someone, if they died around me, would I cry for them? And he's like, probably not. I would get over it in maybe a few days, a few hours, and it kind of shows his mental state, and it makes me really appreciate Denji as a character. So first impressions, I like what the writer's doing. They're trying to give a very realistic approach to this character, this type of theme of a character, because normally these type of characters would be instantly A-OK, sane in the mind, as soon as they encounter their first friend. But obviously that's not what's happening here with Denji, which I appreciate so greatly. Now, going a little bit further as well, though, it's not just Denji. Most of the characters within Chainsaw Man are very unhinged, for a very logical reason. And the reason for that is because if you are encountering devils, obviously you have to be a madman. You have to be a little bit crazy to want to go up against devils and take them down. And the reason why some are wanting to take down devils is because of one of the main themes of the story, or plot points, which is this gun devil. Apparently, a long time ago within this story's universe, you had it to where this gun devil popped up, and he caused a lot of mayhem, a lot of havoc, and it killed a lot of people. And because of that, it resulted in many people fearing what entity he was, like, for instance, a gun, and because of that, it caused his power to grow. So basically, the more someone fears a certain object, or fears whatever that devil is based on, the more power that devil grows. Example, to get the best example, let's say there was a spider devil, okay? And you have everybody in the world that somehow fears spiders. Like, every individual person in the world fears a spider. That means that spider devil would be insanely strong. Like, extremely strong. That's kind of the point here, is that the gun devil appeared out of nowhere because there was a lot of fear for guns. And it resulted in having so much power, and it caused havoc throughout the entirety of the world, and obviously this is when the world kind of became very aware of devils, and so people started to sign up to get vengeance against the gun devil to be able to take it down. So you had devil hunters pop up, and so that is why most of the people that join, you know, to become a devil hunter is not really sound in the right mind. It's because they're either hell-bent on vengeance, or they're not really aware of what they're getting into, and when they finally are aware of it, they either die or become broken. Most of the people don't really make it for long term. That's something the series definitely wanted to present to you right at the start of the story, is that most characters that are within the actual public Devil Hunter Safety Commission are actually individuals that are so unhinged that they wouldn't normally function in regular society. They're only doing this because of some other reasons, for instance, to take down the gun devil, etc. But obviously, even those that are insane don't always last either. You have people that are obviously not mentally fit, and they will get taken down by devils left and right. You'll see them just die in active duty on the first day. So it's very clear that this series is very gritty and dark, and it really surprises me that Weekly Shonen Jump actually allowed this series to be serialized. I'm very shocked about it. Now, I'm not hating on the story by any means. I don't think it should be censored. As I've said before, I don't believe in censorship. I really think that a writer should be allowed to present their story in the way they want. For instance, if they want to make it as dark and gritty as possible, I think they should be allowed that freedom to really present the story, as long as if it's in good taste. For instance, it makes sense and it's in good taste. I really think that a story should be allowed to do what it wants. Example, Berserk is a good example. Like, I mean, imagine if that was censored, it really wouldn't retain a lot of its themes it has if it was censored to some other modern things you would see in stories nowadays. So, that's the point I'm getting at, is I'm really surprised that Chainsaw Man has not been censored heavily. And maybe I'm unaware of it. Maybe it has been censored to a certain degree. Maybe the writer and artist of the story has had to censor themselves to a certain degree just to be able to present this in a Weekly Shonen Jump magazine. Because, I mean, this is technically for young adults that actually read this. You know, people that are kind of younger on the young side. So it's just like, I wonder how, or wonder why Shonen actually allowed this. I mean, it's good. I'm just like, whoa, it's kind of shocking. Because when you compare it to everything else in the magazine, I don't think really much compares to this. I mean, the only thing that really I could say that might compare to this to a certain degree might be Jujutsu Kaisen. I think that's the only series that is reminiscent of it, because they technically do have very similar vibes. They both deal with devils and demons, etc., and hunting demons, and it's something I talked about when it came to Phantom Seer. But I still think, though, that just seeing the dark and gritty nature of this series really is telling about how Shonen Jump is being a little bit more lax with certain themes and stories. So I appreciate that. Maybe that is the reason why Chainsaw Man has been able to kind of shine and stand out, is because of how dark it actually is. But to kind of back up for a second, though, let's kind of talk about some nitty-gritty stuff. So when it comes to Chainsaw Man, it is definitely not shy about killing off characters. That is definitely something I noticed while getting to around chapter 29. Quite a few characters already from the story have actually died that I didn't expect to die. It's really shocking to me. I did not expect it whatsoever, and I think that this is a double-edged sword. It's what I've always said when a character dies within a story. If you can kill off characters, it's a good thing. It means that the writer isn't scared to get rid of characters when they need to. But at the same time, sometimes getting rid of characters too fast, too quickly is not a good thing as well. You can have an Akame got kill situation. If you remember Akame got kill, so many characters got killed left and right throughout that story that it caused many people to become detached from every single character. They didn't want to get attached to any character because in basically the next chapter they might die. You never wanted to care about them because as soon as they had a backstory, as soon as they had some form of development, they were destined to die. And it caused many not to like Akame ga Kill for that, the manga and anime, and that is one of the main reasons why it's a double-edged sword to get rid of characters. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, and obviously I think the writer's doing a good job with kind of balancing the theme of death, because I mean obviously people are going to die in this world. That's something that the writer definitely wanted to say. Right at the start of the story, the writer's like, people are going to die. Like, you're going to have characters that are going to join the line of duty to become a devil hunter, and they're going to die. They're not going to make it past the first day or first week. That's something that the writer definitely said, and I am very, very happy they did that, but I do hope that it's not going to be left and right where you grow detached from every single character around. However, I think the writer's going to be doing a good job with it because obviously this series is very popular. It's been doing a good job. I think it has over 80 plus chapters now, so I'm not really concerned on the fact of writing, because if it was really doing bad in terms of writing and stuff, I think the series would degrade and probably have been axed at this point, so it's obviously safe and probably not going to be canceled for any time soon. I think Chainsaw Man is definitely a quality series. I do like the design of characters. I like Power as a character. I like Maki as a character. There's a lot to love from this story. There's a lot of very dark and gritty art as well. I love the devil designs. I really think that the writer really shines with the designs of the devils, the gritty and dark creatures that he presents, or she or he presents within the story. I think it's fascinating, honestly, and I think that this is definitely one of those series I think I'm going to enjoy, and I cannot wait to read more chapters and see where the story's going to go, because it's incredible so far. But I'm going to leave it at that. I just wanted to make a brief first impressions of Chainsaw Man. I think it's good. I'm excited to see where Denji's character goes once he continues down his path to become more human. I feel like at this point, if I had to analyze Denji's character, he's not human. He realizes he's empty, and he wants to become human. He wants to strive for a dream. He wants something that makes him feel whole, have emotions. I just do love all these dynamics about his character. Maybe I should make a full video just discussing Denji, because there is a lot to really dissect from him that I can kind of point at with other characters that honestly Denji is doing better. But I'll leave it at that, though. I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And with that, Chibi out.